You're watching the CBS 58 News at 7 on WMLW.
Murdered 3 people. 3, not 1, not 2, 3.
Outrage and unrest in Wauwatosa after the district attorney decides not to charge Wauwatosa police officer Joseph Mensah for shooting and killing a teenager earlier this year. Thank you for joining us. We are seeing the damage in the daylight for the first time this morning.
And Pauline Lee right now is on the ground in Wauwatosa this morning. She's got a look at the aftermath.
Yeah, that's right. We're near North and Swan Avenue. This is where a lot of the damage happened last night. As you can see, you've got a couple dozen volunteers here. They were out here at 6 o'clock on the dot to help clean up these businesses. And you can see there's one gentleman here already measuring a new window for this wallpaper business that was heavily damaged here. We'll have more. We'll talk to some of the volunteers who are out here, what brought them out here so early this morning, coming up in just a bit.
We will check back in with you in just a moment for a full report and team coverage. But first, we want to right away get to our weather forecast this morning. We have Sam filling in for Justin.
Good morning, everyone. Starting off a little bit cooler this morning, but we have about a 15-degree temperature spread across the area. 51 in Milwaukee right now, but 36 degrees as you head out towards Watertown. 41 degrees in Waukesha, right in between, and 46 currently in Kenosha. We've had calm winds and clear skies throughout the night, which is why we're starting off a bit cooler today, but abundant sunshine will stick around through the day today. A lake breeze develops this afternoon, so highs will only make it into the mid-60s, but we're going to stay mild and dry for the rest of the week and through the weekend, but a chance of rain returns by the start of next week. I'll let you know how warm we'll be this weekend coming up in a few minutes.
And breaking news this morning, a 2-year-old boy is currently recovering after police say he got a hold of a gun and shot himself on Milwaukee's north side. It happened near 9th and Ring around 11:30 last night. Police say the 2-year-old found his mother's gun and accidentally shot himself. He was taken to a local hospital and is expected to survive. The boy's mother was also taken into custody.
The city of Wauwatosa is no longer under a curfew this morning. It ended just about an hour ago, but it will go back into effect at 7 tonight. It's part of a state of emergency order that went into effect last night following the district attorney's decision not to charge Officer Joseph Mensah in the deadly shooting of 17-year-old Alvin Cole.
And this morning we are seeing some of that damage that was left behind after the unrest that followed the DA's decision. Now, Pauline Lee is live right now in Wauwatosa with more on what the crowds did overnight. Pauline?
Yeah, that's right. The crowd here this morning, they showed up at about 6 o'clock. You talk about that curfew ending at 6 o'clock. These people showed up at 6 o'clock on the dot. A couple dozen volunteers who are out here helping these businesses recover. As you can see, all of the glass that's on the ground pretty much swept up. Glass that's in the windowsill swept out. And we're here with one of the volunteers who showed up this morning. Nydia, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Well, what brought you out here so early this morning?
Well, last night I started seeing the posts about let's come out and heal Tosa, and I really wanted to be a part of that. I've been a part of the protest and the peaceful protest most of this time, and it was really nice to be out here and be part of this healing for Wauwatosa.
Well, we talk about the protests that happened overnight. It started peaceful, and then all of a sudden it took a turn for the worse in the middle of the night, and you saw the riots, the looting, the destruction. I mean, how does that make you feel, a resident here in Tosa?
Well, it made me a little sad and a little disappointed. Overall, the protests that have been here have been just exercising the First Amendment right. They have been peaceful. They have been just trying to make a point. And it's unfortunate that some bad actors late in the evening decided to destroy some of these businesses. But it just makes me a little sad.
And then on the flip side of this, 6 o'clock this morning, a couple dozen volunteers, strangers who really didn't know each other before this, they come out here and they help these businesses. How does that make you feel?
Well, that's why I love Wauwatosa. We come out here for action. We're not about thoughts and prayers. We're about we love our city, and we're going to work together. I don't know most of these people. I don't know if they're Democrat, Republican. It doesn't matter. We love our city. We appreciate our businesses because they make our city great. And I wanted to be a part, we all wanted to be a part of fixing that and healing it.
Nydia, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, guys. This cleanup goes until about 8 o'clock this morning, but these guys, they move fast. A lot of the destruction here, at least the glass parts and the things that have been broken have already been cleaned up. But we'll be out here and we'll bring you the latest coming up a little bit later on in the show. But for now, we'll send it back to you.
Pauline, thank you. Prosecutors have ruled the shooting of Alvin Cole justified. Now, this is the third person Officer Joseph Mensah shot and killed in the last 5 years. Following the decision, protesters took to the streets overnight near Mayfair Mall, driving up and down Highway 100 across medians. Now, that's where CBS 58's Emily Thornton. She's live there this morning with more on the DA's decision. Emily?
The main entrance to Mayfair Mall is now back open after being blocked overnight. You can see the barricades that were blocking the entrances here are now piled up on the median there. Now, the DA says no reasonable jury would have convicted Officer Mensah because of self-defense. In addition to a document detailing the investigation, the DA also released a video. It showed clips from the incident inside Mayfair Mall, where at one point the DA says Alvin Cole and another man got into an argument. That man said Cole flashed a gun. Dashcam video shows responding officers and mall security chasing Cole. Then you hear a gunshot. Investigators say Cole likely shot himself in the arm while running. The DA says Cole held the gun the entire time and pointed it in the officer's direction.
Once he went to the ground, the officers indicated that he never surrendered that firearm. And because of that, the way officers are trained is they're trained that they are authorized to use deadly force if a person has a weapon, they have a means of delivery, and they demonstrate any kind of intent to use that weapon.
Now, after the decision was released, the Wauwatosa police chief released a video saying he supported the DA's decision. Reporting live in Wauwatosa, Emily Thornton, CBS 58 News.
The Cole family says despite no charges being filed against Officer Mensah, they are determined to move forward. They add the family wants more than one person fired from the Wauwatosa Police Department. They also want the Wauwatosa Police Chief fired over how he has handled the Mensah shooting. The family also says they want D.A. Chisholm to step down, saying they believe he would never charge an officer in any circumstance.
20 plus years as a DA, and you have been the same. You have showed the same. You show your bias. He lied. And that is the leadership of the Wauwatosa Police Department, and he needs to be fired immediately. And if they don't do that, that shows you what type of policing they want in Wauwatosa.
The family says they are considering pursuing federal charges for Joseph Mensah and will make an announcement about their next steps in the next few days.
Turning now to our national news. In Minnesota, former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin has posted $1 million bail and was released from a correctional facility. He's charged with second-degree murder for the death of George Floyd. According to records, Chauvin's release is conditional, though just what those conditions are is still unclear.
Her family deserves justice. She was a beautiful young woman. She had as her life goal to become a nurse, and she wanted to become an EMT to first learn what's going on out on the street.
That was Senator Kamala Harris at last night's vice presidential debate, speaking about Breonna Taylor, a young woman who died in a controversial police shooting in Louisville, Kentucky. The VP debate was markedly different in tone and substance than the first presidential debate.
Vice President Mike Pence and Democratic nominee Kamala Harris were separated by plexiglass as they debated over coronavirus.
Whatever the vice president is claiming the administration has done, clearly it hasn't worked.
From the very first day, President Donald Trump has put the health of America first.
The pair also sparred over progressive policies like the Green New Deal and Medicare for all.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris consistently talk about mandates, and not just mandates with the coronavirus, but a government takeover of health care, the Green New Deal, all government control.
We have seen a pattern with this administration, which is they don't believe in science. And Joe's plan is about saying we're going to deal with it, but we're also going to create jobs.
Now, meanwhile, this morning, the Commission on Presidential Debates announced the second presidential debate will be virtual because of coronavirus concerns. Both candidates will be in separate remote locations. That debate takes place a week from today.
Still to come, even the best retirement plans don't always go as expected. 3 million older workers who have left the labor force since the coronavirus pandemic began, and not all of them have done it willingly. After the break, a local financial expert shares how to navigate retirement, whether you're ready or not.